Grookey, the chimp Pokemon. When it uses its special stick to strike up a beat, the sound waves produced carry revitalizing energy to the plants and flowers in the area. Thwackey, the beat Pokemon. The faster a Thwackey can beat out a rhythm with its two sticks, the more respect it wins from its peers. Rillaboom, the drummer Pokemon. By drumming, it taps into the power of its special tree stump. The roots of the stump follow its direction in battle. Scorbunny, the rabbit Pokemon. A warm-up of running around gets fire energy coursing through this Pokemon's body. Once that happens, it's ready to fight at full power. Raboot, the rabbit Pokemon. Its thick and fluffy fur protects it from the cold and enables it to use hotter fire moves. Cinderace, the striker Pokemon. It juggles a pebble with its feet, turning it into a burning soccer ball. Its shots strike opponents hard and leave them scorched. Sobble, the water lizard Pokemon. When scared, this Pokemon cries. Its tears pack the chemical punch of 100 onions, and attackers won't be able to resist weeping. Drizzile, the water lizard Pokemon. A clever combatant, this Pokemon battles using water balloons created with moisture secreted from its palms. Inteleon, the secret agent Pokemon. It has many hidden capabilities, such as fingertips that can shoot water and a membrane on its back that it can use to glide through the air. Blipbug, the lava Pokemon. A constant collector of information, this Pokemon is very smart. Very strong is what it isn't. Dottler, the radome Pokemon. It barely moves, but it's still alive. Hiding in its shell without food or water seems to have awakened its psychic powers. Orbeetle, the 7-spot Pokemon. It's famous for its high level of intelligence, and the large size of its brain is proof that it also possesses immense psychic power. Gigantamax Orbeetle. Its brain has grown to a gargantuan size, as has the rest of its body. This Pokemon's intellect and psychic abilities are overpowering. Caterpie, the worm Pokemon. For protection, it releases a horrible stench from the antenna on its head to drive away enemies. Metapod, the cocoon Pokemon. It is waiting for the moment to evolve. At this stage, it can only harden, so it remains motionless to avoid attack. Butterfree, the butterfly Pokemon. In battle, it flaps its wings at great speed to release highly toxic dust into the air. Gigantamax Butterfree. Crystallized Gigantamax energy makes up this Pokemon's blindingly bright and highly toxic scales. Grubbin, the lava Pokemon. Its natural enemies, like Grookey, may flee rather than risk getting caught in its large mandibles that can snap thick tree branches. Charjabug, the battery Pokemon. While its durable shell protects it from attacks, Charjabug strikes at enemies with jolts of electricity discharged from the tips of its jaws. Vikavolt, the stag beetle Pokemon. It builds up electricity in its abdomen, focuses it through its jaws, and then fires the electricity off in concentrated beams. Hoot Hoot, the owl Pokemon. It always stands on one foot. It changes feet so fast, the movement can rarely be seen. Noctowl, the owl Pokemon. Its eyes are specially developed to enable it to see clearly even in murky darkness and minimal light. Rookidee, the tiny bird Pokemon. It will bravely challenge any opponent, no matter how powerful. This Pokemon benefits from every battle, even a defeat increases its strength a bit. Corvisquire, the Raven Pokemon. Smart enough to use tools and battle, these Pokemon have been seen picking up rocks and flinging them or using ropes to wrap up enemies. Corviknight, the Raven Pokemon. This Pokemon reigns supreme in the skies of the Galar region. The black luster of its steel body could drive terror into the heart of any foe. Gigantamax Corviknight. Imbued with Gigantamax energy, its wings can whip up winds more forceful than any a hurricane could muster. The gusts blow everything away. Scorbunny, the cheeky Pokemon. Found throughout the Galar region, this Pokemon becomes uneasy if its cheeks are ever completely empty of berries. Greedent, the greedy Pokemon. It stashes berries in its tail, so many berries that they fall out constantly. But this Pokemon is a bit slow-witted, so it doesn't notice the loss. Pidove, the tiny pigeon Pokemon. Where people go, these Pokemon follow. If you're scattering food for them, be careful, several hundred of them can gather at once. Tranquil, the wild pigeon Pokemon. It can fly moderately quickly. No matter how far it travels, it can always find its way back to its master and its nest. Unpheasant, the proud Pokemon. Unpheasant are exceptional flyers. The females are known for their stamina, while the males outclass them in terms of speed. Nickit, the fox Pokemon. Aided by the soft pads on its feet, it silently raids the food stores of other Pokemon. It survives off its ill-gotten gains. Thievul, the fox Pokemon. It secretly marks potential targets with a scent. By following the scent, it stalks its targets and steals from them when they least expect it. Zigzagoon, the tiny raccoon Pokemon. Its restlessness has it constantly running around. If it sees another Pokemon, it will purposely run into them in order to start a fight. Linoone, the rushing Pokemon. It uses its long tongue to taunt opponents. Once the opposition is enraged, this Pokemon hurls itself at the opponent, tackling them forcefully. Obstagoon, the blocking Pokemon. Its voice is staggering in volume. Obstagoon has a tendency to take on a threatening posture and shout. This move is known as obstruct. Wooloo, the sheep Pokemon. Its curly fleece is such an effective cushion that this Pokemon could fall off a cliff and stand right back up at the bottom, unharmed. Dubwool, the sheep Pokemon. Weave a carpet from its springy wool, and you end up with something closer to a trampoline. You'll start to bounce the moment you set foot on it. Lotad, the waterweed Pokemon. It searches about for clean water. If it does not drink water for too long, the leaf on its head wilts. Lombre, the jolly Pokemon. It is nocturnal and becomes active at nightfall. It feeds on aquatic mosses that grow in the riverbed. Ludicolo, the carefree Pokemon. The rhythm of bright, festive music activates Ludicolo's cells, making it more powerful. Seedot, the acorn Pokemon. If it remains still, it looks just like a real nut. It delights in surprising foraging Pokemon. Nuzleaf, the wily Pokemon. It lives deep in forests. With a leaf on its head, it makes a flute whose song makes listeners uneasy. Shiftry, the wicked Pokemon. A Pokemon that was feared as a forest guardian. It can read the foe's mind and take preemptive action. Tootle, the snapping Pokemon. Apparently the itch of its teething impels it to snap its jaws at anything in front of it. Dreadnought, the bite Pokemon. With jaws that can shear through steel rods, this highly aggressive Pokemon chomps down on its unfortunate prey. Gigantamax Dreadnought. It responded to Gigantamax energy by becoming bipedal. First it comes crashing down on foes, and then it finishes them off with its massive jaws. Purloin, the devious Pokemon. It steals things from people just to amuse itself with their frustration. A rivalry exists between this Pokemon and Nickit. Leopard, the cruel Pokemon. Don't be fooled by its gorgeous fur and elegant figure. This is a moody and vicious Pokemon. Yamper, the puppy Pokemon. This Pokemon is very popular as a herding dog in the Galar region. As it runs, it generates electricity from the base of its tail. Boltund, the dog Pokemon. This Pokemon generates electricity and channels it into its legs to keep them going strong. Boltund can run non-stop for 3 full days. Bunnelby, the digging Pokemon. It excels at digging holes. Using its ears, it can dig a nest 33 feet deep in one night. Diggersby, the digging Pokemon. With power equal to an excavator, it can dig through dense bedrock. It's a huge help during tunnel construction. Minxino, the chinchilla Pokemon. The way it brushes away grime with its tail can be helpful when cleaning. But its focus on spotlessness can make cleaning more of a hassle. Cinccino, the scarf Pokemon. Its body secretes oil that this Pokemon spreads over its nest as a coating to protect it from dust. Cinccino won't tolerate even a speck of the stuff. Bounsweet, the fruit Pokemon. Its body gives off a sweet, fruity scent that is extremely appetizing to bird Pokemon. Steenie, the fruit Pokemon. As it twirls like a dancer, a sweet smell spreads out around it. Anyone who inhales the scent will feel a surge of happiness. Tsareena, the fruit Pokemon. This feared Pokemon has long, slender legs and a cruel heart. It shows no mercy as it stomps on its opponents. Oddish, the weed Pokemon. If exposed to moonlight, it starts to move. It roams far and wide at night to scatter its seeds. Gloom, the weed Pokemon. Its pistils exude an incredibly foul odor. The horrid stench can cause fainting at a distance of 1.25 miles. Vileplume, the flower Pokemon. It has the world's largest petals. With every step the petals shake out heavy clouds of toxic pollen. Blossom, the flower Pokemon. Plentiful in the tropics. When it dances, its petals rub together and make a pleasant ringing sound. Budew, the bud Pokemon. The pollen it releases contains poison. If this Pokemon is raised on clean water, the poison's toxicity is increased. Reselia, the thorn Pokemon. Its flowers give off a relaxing fragrance. The stronger its aroma, the healthier the Reselia is. Roserade, the bouquet Pokemon. After captivating opponents with its sweet scent, it lashes them with its thorny whips. Wingull, the seagull Pokemon. It makes its nest on sheer cliffs. Riding the sea breeze, it glides up into the expansive skies. Pelipper, the water bird Pokemon. It is a messenger of the skies, carrying small Pokemon and eggs to safety in its bill. Joltik, the attaching Pokemon. Joltik can be found clinging to other Pokemon. It's soaking up static electricity because it can't produce a charge on its own. Galvantula, the eel spider Pokemon. It launches electrified fur from its abdomen as its means of attack. Opponents hit by the fur could be in for 3 full days and nights of paralysis. Electrike, the lightning Pokemon. It stores static electricity in its fur for discharging. It gives off sparks if a storm approaches. Manectric, the discharge Pokemon. It stimulates its own muscles with electricity, so it can move quickly. It eases its soreness with electricity, too, so it can recover quickly as well. Vulpix, the fox Pokemon. While young, it has 6 gorgeous tails. When it grows, several new tails are sprouted. Ninetales, the fox Pokemon. It is said to live 1,000 years, and each of its tails is loaded with supernatural powers. Growlithe, the puppy Pokemon. It has a brave and trustworthy nature. It fearlessly stands up to bigger and stronger foes. Arcanine, the legendary Pokemon. The sight of it running over 6,200 miles in a single day and night has captivated many people. Vanillite, the fresh snow Pokemon. Unable to survive in hot areas, it makes itself comfortable by breathing out air cold enough to cause snow. It burrows into the snow to sleep. Vanillish, the icy snow Pokemon. By drinking pure water, it grows its icy body. This Pokemon can be hard to find on days with warm, sunny weather. Vanillux, the snowstorm Pokemon. When its anger reaches a breaking point, this Pokemon unleashes a fierce blizzard that freezes every creature around it, be they friend or foe. Swinub, the pig Pokemon. It rubs its snout on the ground to find and dig up food. It sometimes discovers hot springs. Piloswine, the swine Pokemon. If it charges at an enemy, the hairs on its back stand up straight. It is very sensitive to sound. Mamoswine, the twin-tusk Pokemon. This Pokemon can be spotted in wall paintings from as far back as 10,000 years ago. For a while, it was thought to have gone extinct. Delibird, the delivery Pokemon. It carries food all day long. There are tales about lost people who were saved by the food it had. Snowrunt, the snow hat Pokemon. It's said that if they are seen at midnight, they'll cause heavy snow. They eat snow and ice to survive. Glalie, the face Pokemon. It has a body of ice that won't melt, even with fire. It can instantly freeze moisture in the atmosphere. Frostlass, the snowland Pokemon. After a woman met her end on a snowy mountain, her regrets lingered on. From them, this Pokemon was born. Its favorite food is frozen souls. Baltoy, the clay doll Pokemon. It moves while spinning around on its single foot. Some Baltoy have been seen spinning on their heads. Claydol, the clay doll Pokemon. This mysterious Pokemon started life as an ancient clay figurine made over 20,000 years ago. Mudbray, the donkey Pokemon. Loads weighing up to 50 times as much as its own body weight pose no issue for this Pokemon. It's skilled at making use of mud. Mudsdale, the draft horse Pokemon. Mud that hardens around a Mudsdale's legs sets harder than stone. It's so hard that it allows this Pokemon to scrap a truck with a single kick. Dwebble, the Rakin Pokemon. When it finds a stone appealing, it creates a hole inside it and uses it as its home. This Pokemon is the natural enemy of Roggenrola and Roly-Poly. Crustle, the stone home Pokemon. This highly territorial Pokemon prefers dry climates. It won't come out of its boulder on rainy days. Golett, the automaton Pokemon. They were sculpted from clay in ancient times. No one knows why, but some of them are driven to continually line up boulders. Golurk, the automaton Pokemon. Artillery platforms built into the walls of ancient castles served as perches from which Golok could fire energy beams. Muna, the Dream Eater Pokemon. Late at night, it appears beside people's pillows. As it feeds on dreams, the patterns on its body give off a faint glow. Mashana, the Drowsing Pokemon. When dark mists emanate from its body, don't get too near. If you do, your nightmares will become reality. Natu, the Tiny Bird Pokemon. It is extremely good at climbing tree trunks and likes to eat the new sprouts on the trees. Xatu, the Mystic Pokemon. They say that it stays still and quiet because it is seeing both the past and the future at the same time. Stuffle, the Flailing Pokemon. Its fluffy fur is a delight to pet, but carelessly reaching out to touch this Pokemon could result in painful retaliation. Beware, the Strong-Arm Pokemon. Once it accepts you as a friend, it tries to show its affection with a hug. Letting it do that is dangerous. It could easily shatter your bones. Snover, the Frost Tree Pokemon. It lives on snowy mountains. It sinks its legs into the snow to absorb water and keep its own temperature down. Abomasnow, the Frost Tree Pokemon. If it sees any packs of Darumaka going after Snover, it chases them off, swinging its sizable arms like hammers. Krabby, the River Crab Pokemon. It can be found near the sea. The large pincers grow back if they are torn out of their sockets. Kingler, the Pincer Pokemon. Its large and hard pincer has 10,000 horsepower strength. However, being so big, it is unwieldy to move. Gigantamax Kingler. The flow of Gigantamax energy has spurred this Pokemon's left pincer to grow to an enormous size. That claw can pulverize anything. Wooper, the Waterfish Pokemon. This Pokemon lives in cold water. It will leave the water to search for food when it gets cold outside. Quagsire, the Waterfish Pokemon. It has an easygoing nature. It doesn't care if it bumps its head on boats and boulders while swimming. Corphish, the Ruffian Pokemon. No matter how dirty the water in the river, it will adapt and thrive. It has a strong will to survive. Crawdaunt, the Rogue Pokemon. A rough customer that wildly flails its giant claws. It is said to be extremely hard to raise. Nincada, the Trainee Pokemon. Because it lived almost entirely underground, it is nearly blind. It uses its antennae instead. Ninjask, the Ninja Pokemon. Its cry leaves a lasting headache if heard for too long. It moves so quickly that it is almost invisible. Shedinja, the Shed Pokemon. A most peculiar Pokemon that somehow appears in a Pokeball when a Nincada evolves. Tyrogue, the Scuffle Pokemon. It is always bursting with energy. To make itself stronger, it keeps on fighting even if it loses. Hitmonlee, the Kicking Pokemon. This amazing Pokemon has an awesome sense of balance. It can kick in succession from any position. Hitmonchan, the Punching Pokemon. Its punches slice the air. They are launched at such high speed, even a slight graze could cause a burn. Hitmontop, the Handstand Pokemon. It launches kicks while spinning. If it spins at high speed, it may bore its way into the ground. Pancham, the Playful Pokemon. It chooses a Pangoro as its master and then imitates its master's actions. This is how it learns to battle and hunt for prey. Pangoro, the Daunting Pokemon. This Pokemon is quick to anger, and it has no problem using its prodigious strength to get its way. It lives for duels against Obstagoon. Clink, the gear Pokemon. The two mini-gears that compose this Pokemon are closer than twins. They mesh well only with each other. Clang, the gear Pokemon. When Clang goes all out, the mini-gear links up perfectly with the outer part of the big gear, and this Pokemon's rotation speed increases sharply. Clink Clang, the gear Pokemon. From its spikes, it launches powerful blasts of electricity. Its red core contains an enormous amount of energy. Combee, the tiny bee Pokemon. The members of the trio spend all their time together. Each one has a slightly different taste in nectar. Vespiquen, the beehive Pokemon. It skillfully commands its grubs in battles with its enemies. The grubs are willing to risk their lives to defend Vespiquen. Bronzer, the bronze Pokemon. It appears in ancient ruins. The pattern on its body doesn't come from any culture in the Galar region, so it remained shrouded in mystery. Bronzong, the bronze bell Pokemon. Some believe it to be a deity that summons rain clouds. When angered, it lets out a warning cry that rings out like the tolling of a bell. Ralts, the feeling Pokemon. It is highly attuned to the emotions of people and Pokemon. It hides if it senses hostility. Curlier, the emotion Pokemon. If its trainer becomes happy, it overflows with energy, dancing joyously while spinning about. Gardevoir, the embrace Pokemon. It has the power to predict the future. Its power peaks when it is protecting its trainer. Gallade, the blade Pokemon. True to its honorable warrior image, it uses the blades on its elbows only in defense of something or someone. Drifloon, the balloon Pokemon. Perhaps seeking company, it approaches children. However, it often quickly runs away again when the children play too roughly with it. Drifblim, the blimp Pokemon. Some say this Pokemon is a collection of souls burdened with regrets, silently drifting through the dusk. Gossifleur, the flowering Pokemon. It anchors itself in the ground with its single leg, then basks in the sun. After absorbing enough sunlight, its petals spread as it blooms brilliantly. Eldegoss, the cotton bloom Pokemon. The seeds attached to its cotton fluff are full of nutrients. It spreads them on the wind so that plants and other Pokemon can benefit from them. Cherubi, the cherry Pokemon. It nimbly dashes about to avoid getting pecked by bird Pokemon that would love to make off with its small, nutrient-rich storage ball. Charim, the blossom Pokemon. As a bud, it barely moves. It sits still, placidly waiting for sunlight to appear. Stunky, the skunk Pokemon. From its rear, it sprays a foul-smelling liquid at opponents. It aims for their faces, and it can hit them from over 16 feet away. Skuntank, the skunk Pokemon. In its belly, it reserves stinky fluid that it shoots from its tail during battle. As this Pokemon's diet varies, so does the stench of its fluid. Timepole, the tadpole Pokemon. Graceful ripples running across the water's surface are a sure sign that Timepole are singing in high-pitched voices below. Palpitoad, the vibration Pokemon. It weakens its prey with sound waves intense enough to cause headaches, then entangles them with its sticky tongue. Seismitoad, the vibration Pokemon. The vibrating of the bumps all over its body causes earthquake-like tremors. Seismitoad and Krogunk are similar species. Duskull, the requiem Pokemon. If it finds bad children who won't listen to their parents, it will spirit them away, or so it's said. Dusclops, the beacon Pokemon. Its body is entirely hollow. When it opens its mouth, it sucks everything in as if it were a black hole. Dusknoir, the gripper Pokemon. At the bidding of transmissions from the spirit world, it steals people and Pokemon away. No one knows whether it has a will of its own. Machop, the superpower Pokemon. Its whole body is composed of muscles. Even though it's the size of a human child, it can hold 100 grown-ups. Machoke, the superpower Pokemon. Its muscular body is so powerful, it must wear a power save belt to be able to regulate its motions. Machamp, the superpower Pokemon. It quickly swings its forearms to rock its opponents with ceaseless punches and chops from all angles. Gigantamax Machamp. The Gigantamax energy coursing through its arms makes its punches hit as hard as bomb blasts. Ghastly, the gas Pokemon. Born from gases, anyone would faint if engulfed by its gaseous body, which contains poison. Haunter, the gas Pokemon. Its tongue is made of gas. If licked, its victim starts shaking constantly until death eventually comes. Gengar, the shadow Pokemon. On the night of a full moon, if shadows move on their own and laugh, it must be Gengar's doing. Gigantamax Gengar. Rumor has it that its gigantic mouth leads not into its body, filled with cursed energy, but instead directly to the afterlife. Magikarp, the fish Pokemon. It is virtually worthless in terms of both power and speed. It is the most weak and pathetic Pokemon in the world. Gyarados, the atrocious Pokemon. It has an extremely aggressive nature. The hyper beam it shoots from its mouth totally incinerates all targets. Goldeen, the goldfish Pokemon. Its dorsal, pectoral, and tail fins wave elegantly in water. That is why it is known as the water dancer. Seeking, the goldfish Pokemon. In autumn, its body becomes more fatty and preparing to propose to a mate. It takes on beautiful colors. Remoraid, the jet Pokemon. The water they shoot from their mouths can hit moving prey from more than 300 feet away. Octillery, the jet Pokemon. It has a tendency to want to be in holes. It prefers rock crags or pots and sprays ink from them before attacking. Shelder, the bivalve Pokemon. It swims facing backward by opening and closing its two-piece shell. It is surprisingly fast. Cloyster, the bivalve Pokemon. Its shell is extremely hard. It cannot be shattered, even with a bomb. The shell opens only when it is attacking. Feebas, the fish Pokemon. Although unattractive and unpopular, this Pokemon's marvelous vitality has made it a subject of research. Milotic, the tender Pokemon. Milotic has provided inspiration to many artists. It has even been referred to as the most beautiful Pokemon of all. Basculin, the hostile Pokemon. Anglers love the fight this Pokemon puts up on the hook. And there are always more to catch. Many people release them into lakes illicitly. Wishy-washy, the small fry Pokemon. Individually, they are incredibly weak. It's by gathering up into schools that they're able to confront opponents. Pukumuku, the sea cucumber Pokemon. It lives in warm, shallow waters. If it encounters a foe, it will spit out its internal organs as a means to punch them. Trubbish, the trash bag Pokemon. Its favorite places are unsanitary ones. If you leave trash lying around, you could even find one of these Pokemon living in your room. Garbodor, the trash heap Pokemon. This Pokemon eats trash, which turns into poison inside its body. The main component of the poison depends on what sort of trash was eaten. Gigantamax Garbodor. Due to Gigantamax energy, this Pokemon's toxic gas has become much thicker, congealing into masses shaped like discarded toys. Sizzlipede, the radiator Pokemon. It stores flammable gas in its body and uses it to generate heat. The yellow sections on its belly get particularly hot. Centiskorch, the radiator Pokemon. When it heats up, its body temperature reaches about 1500 degrees Fahrenheit. It lashes its body like a whip and launches itself at enemies. Gigantamax Centiskorch. Gigantamax energy has evoked a rise in its body temperature, now reaching over 1800 degrees Fahrenheit. Its heat waves incinerate its enemies. Relicoly, the coal Pokemon. Most of its body has the same composition as coal. Fittingly, this Pokemon was first discovered in coal mines about 400 years ago. Carkle, the coal Pokemon. It forms coal inside its body. Coal dropped by this Pokemon once helped fuel the lives of people in the Galar region. Coalosaur, the coal Pokemon. It's usually peaceful, but the vandalism of mines enrages it. Offenders will be incinerated with flames that reach 2700 degrees Fahrenheit. Gigantamax Coalosaur. Its body is a colossal stove. With Gigantamax energy stoking the fire, this Pokemon's flame burns hotter than 3600 degrees Fahrenheit. Diglett, the mole Pokemon. If a Diglett digs through a field, it leaves the soil perfectly tilled and ideal for planting crops. Dugtrio, the mole Pokemon. A team of Diglett triplets. It triggers huge earthquakes by burrowing 60 miles underground. Drillbur, the mole Pokemon. It brings its claws together and whirls around at high speed before rushing toward its prey. Excadrill, the subterrane Pokemon. It's not uncommon for tunnels that appear to have formed naturally to actually be a result of Excadrill's rampant digging. Roggenrola, the mantle Pokemon. It's as hard as steel, but apparently a long soak in water will cause it to soften a bit. Boldore, the ore Pokemon. If you see its orange crystals start to glow, be wary. It's about to fire off bursts of energy. Gigalith, the compressed Pokemon. This hardy Pokemon can often be found on construction sites and in mines, working alongside people and copperage. Timber, the muscular Pokemon. It loves helping out with construction projects. It loves it so much that if rain causes work to halt, it swings its log around and throws a tantrum. Girder, the muscular Pokemon. It shows off its muscles to Machoke and other Girder. If it fails to measure up to the other Pokemon, it lies low for a little while. Conkeldurr, the muscular Pokemon. Concrete mixed by Conkeldurr is much more durable than normal concrete, even when the compositions of the two materials are the same. Woobat, the bat Pokemon. While inside a cave, if you look up and see lots of heart-shaped marks lining the walls, it's evidence that Woobat live there. Swoobat, the courting Pokemon. Emitting powerful sound waves tires it out. Afterward, it won't be able to fly for a little while. Noibat, the soundwave Pokemon. After nightfall, they emerge from the caves they nest in during the day. Using their ultrasonic waves, they go on the hunt for ripened fruit. Noivern, the Soundwave Pokemon. Aggressive and cruel, this Pokemon will ruthlessly torment enemies that are helpless in the dark. Onyx, the Rock Snake Pokemon. As it digs through the ground, it absorbs many hard objects. This is what makes its body so solid. Steelix, the Iron Snake Pokemon. It is said that if an Onyx lives for over 100 years, its composition changes to become diamond-like. Arrokuda, the Rush Pokemon. If it sees any movement around it, this Pokemon charges for it straight away, leading with its sharply pointed jaw. It's very proud of that jaw. Barrowscuda, the Skewer Pokemon. This Pokemon has a jaw that's as sharp as a spear and as strong as steel. Apparently Barrowscuda's flesh is surprisingly tasty, too. Meowth, the Scratch Cat Pokemon. Living with a savage, seafaring people has toughened this Pokemon's body so much that parts of it have turned to iron. Gigantamax Meowth. The pattern that has appeared on its giant coin is thought to be the key to unlocking the secrets of the Dynamax phenomenon. Berserker, the Viking Pokemon. What appears to be an iron helmet is actually hardened hair. This Pokemon lives for the thrill of battle. Persian, the classy cat Pokemon. Getting this prideful Pokemon to warm up to you takes a lot of effort, and it will claw at you the moment it gets annoyed. Milcery, the cream Pokemon. This Pokemon was born from sweet-smelling particles in the air. Its body is made of cream. Alcremie, the cream Pokemon. When it trusts a trainer, it will treat them to berries it's decorated with cream. Gigantamax Alcremie. Cream pours endlessly from this Pokemon's body. The cream stiffens when compressed by an impact. A harder impact results in harder cream. Cutiefly, the bee-fly Pokemon. Nectar and pollen are its favorite fare. You can find Cutiefly hovering around Gossifleur, trying to get some of Gossifleur's pollen. Ribombee, the bee-fly Pokemon. It makes pollen puffs from pollen and nectar. The puffs' effects depend on the type of ingredients and how much of each one is used. Pharaohseed, the Thornseed Pokemon. It defends itself by launching spikes, but its aim isn't very good at first. Only after a lot of practice will it improve. Ferrothorn, the Thornpod Pokemon. This Pokemon scrapes its spikes across rocks, and then uses the tips of its feelers to absorb the nutrients it finds within the stone. Pumpkaboo, the Pumpkin Pokemon. Supersized Pumpkaboo are very partial to the spirits of people who were of similarly superior proportions. Gourgeist, the Pumpkin Pokemon. Supersized Gourgeist aren't picky. They will forcefully drag anyone off to the afterlife. Pichu, the tiny mouse Pokemon. Despite its small size, it can zap even adult humans. However, if it does so, it also surprises itself. Pikachu, the mouse Pokemon. Pikachu that can generate powerful electricity have cheek sacs that are extra soft and super stretchy. Gigantamax Pikachu. Its Gigantamax power expanded, forming its supersized body and towering tail. Raichu, the mouse Pokemon. Its long tail serves as a ground to protect itself from its own high voltage power. Eevee, the evolution Pokemon. It has the ability to alter the composition of its body to suit its surrounding environment. Gigantamax Eevee. Gigantamax energy up the fluffiness of the fur around Eevee's neck. The fur will envelop a foe, capturing its body and captivating its mind. Vaporeon, the bubble jet Pokemon. When Vaporeon's fins begin to vibrate, it is a sign that rain will come within a few hours. Jolteon, the lightning Pokemon. If it is angered or startled, the fur all over its body bristles like sharp needles that pierce foes. Flareon, the flame Pokemon. Once it has stored up enough heat, this Pokemon's body temperature can reach up to 1700 degrees Fahrenheit. Espeon, the sun Pokemon. By reading air currents, it can predict things such as the weather or its foe's next move. Umbreon, the moonlight Pokemon. When this Pokemon becomes angry, its paws secrete a poisonous sweat, which it sprays at its opponent's eyes. Leafeon, the verdant Pokemon. Galarians favor the distinctive aroma that drifts from this Pokemon's leaves. There's a popular perfume made using that scent. Glaceon, the fresh snow Pokemon. Any who become captivated by the beauty of the snowfall that Glaceon creates will be frozen before they know it. Sylveon, the intertwining Pokemon. By releasing enmity-erasing waves from its ribbon-like feelers, Sylveon stops any conflict. Applin, the apple core Pokemon. It spends its entire life inside an apple. It hides from its natural enemies, bird Pokemon, by pretending it's just an apple and nothing more. Flapple, the apple wing Pokemon. It ate a sour apple, and that induced its evolution. In its cheeks, it stores an acid capable of causing chemical burns. Gigantamax Flapple, the apple wing Pokemon. Under the influence of Gigantamax energy, it produces much more sweet nectar, and its shape has changed to resemble a giant apple. Appletun, the apple nectar Pokemon. Eating a sweet apple caused its evolution. A nectarous scent wafts from its body, luring in the bug Pokemon it preys on. Gigantamax Appletun. It blasts its opponents with massive amounts of sweet, sticky nectar, drowning them under the deluge. Esper, the restrained Pokemon. Though Esper's expression never changes, behind that blank stare is an intense struggle to contain its devastating psychic power. Meowstic, the constrained Pokemon. Revealing the eye-like patterns on the insides of its ears will unleash its psychic powers. It normally keeps the patterns hidden, however. Swirlix, the cotton candy Pokemon. It eats its own weight in sugar every day. If it doesn't get enough sugar, it becomes incredibly grumpy. Slurpuff, the meringue Pokemon. By taking in a person's scent, it can sniff out their mental and physical condition. It's hoped that this skill will have many medical applications. Spritzee, the perfume Pokemon. A scent pouch within this Pokemon's body allows it to create various scents. A change in its diet will alter the fragrance it produces. Aromatisse, the fragrance Pokemon. The scent that constantly emits from its fur is so powerful that this Pokemon's companions will eventually lose their sense of smell. Dewpider, the water bubble Pokemon. It forms a water bubble at the rear of its body and then covers its head with it. Meeting another Dewpider means comparing water bubble sizes. Araquanid, the water bubble Pokemon. It launches water bubbles with its legs, drowning prey within the bubbles. This Pokemon can then take its time to savor its meal. Wynaut, the bright Pokemon. It tends to move in a pack. Individuals squash against one another to toughen their spirits. Wobbuffet, the patient Pokemon. It hates light and shock. If attacked, It inflates its body to pump up its counter-strike. Farfetch'd, the wild duck Pokemon. The Farfetch'd of the Galar region are brave warriors, and they wield thick, tough leeks in battle. Surfetch'd, the wild duck Pokemon. Only Farfetch'd that have survived many battles can attain this evolution. When this Pokemon's leek withers, it will retire from combat. Chinchou, the angler Pokemon. Its antennae, which evolved from a fin, have both positive and negative charges flowing through them. Lantern, the light Pokemon. The light it emits is so bright that it can illuminate the sea's surface from a depth of over 3 miles. Croagunk, the toxic mouth Pokemon. It makes frightening noises with its poison-filled cheek sacs. When opponents flinch, Croagunk hits them with a poison jab. Toxicroak, the toxic mouth Pokemon. It bounces toward opponents and gouges them with poisonous claws. No more than a scratch is needed to knock out its adversaries. Scraggy, the shedding Pokemon. If it locks eyes with you, watch out. Nothing and no one is safe from the reckless headbutts of this troublesome Pokemon. Scrafty, the hoodlum Pokemon. As half-hearted as this Pokemon's kicks may seem, they pack enough power to shatter Conch Elder's concrete pillars. Stunfisk, the trap Pokemon. Living in mud with a high iron content has given it a strong steel body. Shuckle, the mold Pokemon. It stores berries inside its shell. To avoid attacks, it hides beneath rocks and remains completely still. Barboach, the Whiskers Pokemon. Its slimy body is hard to grasp. In one region, it is said to have been born from hardened mud. Whiscash, the Whiskers Pokemon. It makes its nest at the bottom of swamps. It will eat anything. If it is alive, Whiscash will eat it. Shellos, the sea slug Pokemon. There's speculation that its appearance is determined by what it eats, but the truth remains elusive. Gastrodon, the sea slug Pokemon. It secretes a purple fluid to deter enemies. This fluid isn't poisonous. Instead, it's super sticky, and once it sticks, it's very hard to unstick. Wimpod, the Turntail Pokemon. It's nature's cleaner. It eats anything and everything, including garbage and rotten things. The ground near its nest is always clean. Golisopod, the Hardscale Pokemon. It will do anything to win, taking advantage of every opening and finishing opponents off with the small claws on its front legs. Binacle, the two-handed Pokemon. After two Binacle find a suitably sized rock, they adhere themselves to it and live together. They cooperate to gather food during high tide. Barbaracle, the collective Pokemon. 7 Binacle come together to form one Barbaracle. The Binacle that serves as the head gives orders to those serving as the limbs. Corsola, the coral Pokemon. Watch your step when wandering areas oceans once covered. What looks like a stone could be this Pokemon, and it will curse you if you kick it. Cursola, the coral Pokemon. Its shell is overflowing with its heightened otherworldly energy. The ectoplasm serves as protection for this Pokemon's core spirit. Impidimp, the wily Pokemon. Through its nose, it sucks in the emanations produced by people and Pokemon when they feel annoyed. It thrives off this negative energy. Morgrim, the devious Pokemon. When it gets down on all fours as if to beg for forgiveness, it's trying to lure opponents in so that it can stab them with its spear-like hair. Grimmsnarl, the bulk-up Pokemon. With the hair wrapped around its body helping to enhance its muscles, this Pokemon can overwhelm even Machamp. Gigantamax Grimmsnarl. By transforming its leg hair, this Pokemon delivers power-packed drill kicks that can bore huge holes in Gala's terrain. Hatena, the calm Pokemon. Via the protrusion on its head, it senses other creatures' emotions. If you don't have a calm disposition, it will never warm up to you. Hatterene, the serene Pokemon. No matter who you are, if you bring strong emotions near this Pokemon, it will silence you violently. Hatterene, the silent Pokemon. It emits psychic power strong enough to cause headaches as a deterrent to the approach of others. Gigantamax Hatterene. This Pokemon can read the emotions of creatures over 30 miles away. The minute it senses hostility, it goes on the attack. Salandit, the toxic lizard Pokemon. Its venom sacs produce a fluid that this Pokemon then heats up with the flame in its tail. This process creates Salandit's poisonous gas. Salazzle, the toxic lizard Pokemon. Only female Salazzle exist. They emit a gas laden with pheromones to captivate male Salandit. Pawneard, the sharp blade Pokemon. It uses river stones to maintain the cutting edges of the blades covering its body. These sharpened blades allow it to bring down opponents. Bisharp, the sword blade Pokemon. It's accompanied by a large retinue of Pawneard. Bisharp keeps a keen eye on its minions, ensuring none of them even think of double-crossing it. Throw, the judo Pokemon. It performs throwing moves with first-rate skill. Over the course of many battles, Throw's belt grows darker as it absorbs its wearer's sweat. Sork, the karate Pokemon. If you see a Sork training in the mountains in its single-minded pursuit of strength, it's best to quietly pass by. Coughing, the poison gas Pokemon. Its body is full of poisonous gas. It floats into garbage dumps, seeking out the fumes of raw, rotting trash. Wheezing, the poison gas Pokemon. This Pokemon consumes particles that contaminate the air. Instead of leaving droppings, it expels clean air. Bonsly, the bonsai Pokemon. It expels both sweat and tears from its eyes. The sweat is a little salty, while the tears have a slight bitterness. Sudowoodo, the imitation Pokemon. If a tree branch shakes when there is no wind, it's a Sudowoodo, not a tree. It hides from the rain. Cleffa, the star-shaped Pokemon. According to local rumors, Cleffa are often seen in places where shooting stars have fallen. Clefairy, the fairy Pokemon. It is said that happiness will come to those who see a gathering of Clefairy dancing under a full moon. Clefable, the fairy Pokemon. A timid fairy Pokemon that is rarely seen. It will run and hide the moment it senses people. Togepi, the spike ball Pokemon. The shell seems to be filled with joy. It is said that it will share good luck when treated kindly. Togetic, the happiness Pokemon. They say that it will appear before kind-hearted, caring people and shower them with happiness. Togekiss, the Jubilee Pokemon. These Pokemon are never seen anywhere near conflict or turmoil. In recent times, they've hardly been seen at all. Munchlax, the big eater Pokemon. Stuffing itself with vast amounts of food is its only concern. Whether the food is rotten or fresh, yummy or tasteless, it does not care. Snorlax, the sleeping Pokemon. It is not satisfied unless it eats over 880 pounds of food every day. When it is done eating, it goes promptly to sleep. Gigantamax Snorlax. Gigantamax energy has affected stray seeds and even pebbles that got stuck to Snorlax, making them grow to a huge size. Cottony, the cotton puff Pokemon. It shoots cotton from its body to protect itself. If it gets caught up in hurricane strength winds, it can get sent to the other side of the earth. Whimsicott, the wind-veiled Pokemon. It scatters cotton all over the place as a prank. If it gets wet, it'll become too heavy to move and have no choice but to answer for its mischief. Rhyhorn, the spikes Pokemon. Strong, but not too bright, this Pokemon can shatter even a skyscraper with its charging tackles. Rhydon, the drill Pokemon. It begins walking on its hind legs after evolution. It can punch holes through boulders with its horn. Rhyperior, the drill Pokemon. It can load up to 3 projectiles per arm into the holes in its hands. What launches out of those holes could be either rocks or Roggenroller. Gothita, the fixation Pokemon. Though they are still only babies, there's psychic power stored in their ribbon-like feelers, and sometimes they use that power to fight. Gothorita, the manipulate Pokemon. It's said that when stars shine in the night sky, this Pokemon will spirit away sleeping children. Some call it the Witch of Punishment. Gothitelle, the astral body Pokemon. It has tremendous psychic power, but it dislikes conflict. It's also able to predict the future based on the movement of the stars. Solosis, the cell Pokemon. It communicates with others telepathically. Its body is encapsulated in liquid, but if it takes a heavy blow, the liquid will leak out. Duocean, the mitosis Pokemon. Its psychic power can supposedly cover a range of more than half a mile, but only if its 2 brains can agree with each other. Reuniclus, the multiplying Pokemon. While it could use its psychic abilities in battle, this Pokemon prefers to swing its powerful arms around to beat opponents into submission. Carablast, the clamping Pokemon. Its strange physiology reacts to electrical energy in interesting ways. The presence of a Shelmet will cause this Pokemon to evolve. Escavalier, the cavalry Pokemon. They use shells they've stolen from Shelmet to arm and protect themselves. They're very popular Pokemon in the Galar region. Shelmet, the snail Pokemon. When attacked, it tightly shuts the lid of its shell. This reaction fails to protect it from Carablast, however, because they can still get into the shell. Axelga, the shell-out Pokemon. It moves with blinding speed and lobs poison at foes. Featuring Axelga as a main character is a surefire way to make a movie or comic popular. Elgium, the cerebral Pokemon. If this Pokemon stands near a TV, strange scenery will appear on the screen. That scenery is said to be from its home. Bahium, the cerebral Pokemon. Whenever a Bahium visits a farm, a Dubwool mysteriously disappears. Kachu, the chill Pokemon. When this Pokemon is in good health, its snot becomes thicker and stickier. It will smear its snot on anyone it doesn't like. Beartic, the freezing Pokemon. It swims through frigid seas, searching for prey. From its frozen breath, it forms icy fangs that are harder than steel. Rufflet, the eaglet Pokemon. If it spies a strong Pokemon, Rufflet can't resist challenging it to a battle. But if Rufflet loses, it starts bawling. Braviary, the valiant Pokemon. Known for its bravery and pride, this majestic Pokemon is often seen as a motif for various kinds of emblems. Vullaby, the diped Pokemon. It wears a bone to protect its rear. It often squabbles with others of its kind over particularly comfy bones. Mandibuzz, the bone vulture Pokemon. Although it's a bit of a ruffian, this Pokemon will take lost Vullaby under its wing and care for them till they're ready to leave the nest. Skorupi, the scorpion Pokemon. After burrowing into the sand, it waits patiently for prey to come near. This Pokemon and Sizzlipede share common descent. Drapion, the ogre scorpion Pokemon. Its poison is potent, but it rarely sees use. This Pokemon prefers to use physical force instead, going on rampages with its car-crushing strength. Litwick, the candle Pokemon. The flame on its head keeps its body slightly warm. This Pokemon takes lost children by the hand to guide them to the spirit world. Lampant, the lamp Pokemon. This Pokemon appears just before someone passes away, so it's feared as an emissary of death. Chandler, the luring Pokemon. This Pokemon haunts dilapidated mansions. It sways its arms to hypnotize opponents with the ominous dancing of its flames. Inkay, the revolving Pokemon. It spins while making its luminescent spots flash. These spots allow it to communicate with others by using different patterns of light. Morlamor, the overturning Pokemon. Gazing at its luminescent spots will quickly induce a hypnotic state, putting the observer under Morlamor's control. Sneasel, the sharp claw Pokemon. Its paws conceal sharp claws. If attacked, it suddenly extends the claws and startles its enemy. Weavile, the sharp claw Pokemon. They attack their quarry in packs. Prey as large as Mamoswine easily fall to the teamwork of a group of Weavile. Sableye, the darkness Pokemon. This Pokemon is feared. When its gemstone eyes begin to glow with a sinister shine, it's believed that Sableye will steal people's spirits away. Morvile, the deceiver Pokemon. It uses its docile-looking face to lull foes into complacency, then bites with its huge, relentless jaws. Maractus, the cactus Pokemon. With noises that could be mistaken for the rattles of maracas, it creates an upbeat rhythm, startling bird Pokemon and making them fly off in a hurry. Sigilyph, the avianoid Pokemon. Psychic power allows these Pokemon to fly. Some say they were guardians of an ancient city. Others say they were the guardians' emissaries. Riolu, the emanation Pokemon. It's exceedingly energetic, with enough stamina to keep running all through the night. Taking it for walks can be a challenging experience. Lucario, the aura Pokemon. It controls waves known as auras, which are powerful enough to pulverize huge rocks. It uses these waves to take down its prey. Torkoal, the coal Pokemon. It burns coal inside its shell for energy. It blows out black soot if it is endangered. Mimikyu, the disguise Pokemon. It wears a rag fashioned into a Pikachu costume in an effort to look less scary. Unfortunately, the costume only makes it creepier. Cufant, the copperderm Pokemon. It digs up the ground with its trunk. It's also very strong, being able to carry loads of over 5 tons without any problem at all. Copperager, the copperderm Pokemon. They came over from another region long ago and worked together with humans. Their green skin is resistant to water. Gigantamax Copperager. So much power is packed within its trunk that if it were to unleash that power, the resulting blast could level mountains and change the landscape. Quillfish, the balloon Pokemon. When faced with a larger opponent, It swallows as much water as it can to match the opponent's size. Frillish, the floating Pokemon. It envelops its prey in its veil-like arms and draws it down to the deeps, 5 miles below the ocean surface. Jellicent, the floating Pokemon. Most of this Pokemon's body composition is identical to seawater. It makes sunken ships its lair. Merini, the brutal star Pokemon. The first symptom of its sting is numbness. The next is an itching sensation so intense that it's impossible to resist the urge to claw at your skin. Toxapex, the brutal star Pokemon. To survive in the cold waters of Galar, this Pokemon forms a dome with its legs, enclosing its body so it can capture its own body heat. Cramorant, the gulp Pokemon. It's so strong that it can knock out some opponents in a single hit, but it also may forget what it's battling mid-fight. Toxel, the baby Pokemon. It stores poison in an internal poison sac and secretes that poison through its skin. If you touch this Pokemon, a tingling sensation follows. Toxtricity, the punk Pokemon. When this Pokemon sounds as if it's strumming a guitar, it's actually clawing at the protrusions on its chest to generate electricity. Gigantamax Toxtricity. Its excessive electric energy is its weapon. This Pokemon can build up more electricity than any thundercloud. Silicobra, the sand snake Pokemon. As it digs, it swallows sand and stores it in its neck pouch. The pouch can hold more than 17 pounds of sand. Sandaconda, the sand snake Pokemon. When it contracts its body, over 220 pounds of sand sprays from its nose. If it ever runs out of sand, it becomes disheartened. Gigantamax Sandaconda. Its sand pouch has grown to tremendous proportions. More than 1 million tons of sand now swirl around its body. Hippopotas, the hippo Pokemon. It moves through the sands with its mouth open, swallowing sand along with its prey. It gets rid of the sand by spouting it from its nose. Hippowdon, the heavyweight Pokemon. Stones can get stuck in the ports on their bodies. Dwebble helped dislodge such stones, so Hippowdon look after these Pokemon. Durant, the Iron Pokemon. They lay their eggs deep inside their nests. When attacked by Heatmore, they retaliate using their massive mandibles. Heatmore, the Anteater Pokemon. There's a hole in its tail that allows it to draw in the air it needs to keep its fire burning. If the hole gets blocked, this Pokemon will fall ill. Helioptile, the Generator Pokemon. When spread, the frills on its head act like solar panels, generating the power behind this Pokemon's electric moves. Heliolisk, the Generator Pokemon. A now vanished desert culture treasured these Pokemon. Appropriately, when Heliolisk came to the Galar region, treasure came with them. Hawlucha, the wrestling Pokemon. It drives its opponents to exhaustion with its agile maneuvers, then ends the fight with a flashy finishing move. Trapinch, the ant pit Pokemon. Its nest is a sloped, bowl-like pit in the desert. Once something has fallen in, there is no escape. Vibrava, the vibration Pokemon. The ultrasonic waves it generates by rubbing its two wings together cause severe headaches. Flygon, the mystic Pokemon. This Pokemon hides in the heart of sandstorms it creates and seldom appears where people can see it. Axew, the tusk Pokemon. These Pokemon nest in the ground and use their tusks to crush hard berries. Crushing berries is also how they test each other's strength. Fracture, the axe jaw Pokemon. After battle, this Pokemon carefully sharpens its tusks on river rocks. It needs to take care of its tusks. If one breaks, it will never grow back. Haxorus, the axe jaw Pokemon. Its resilient tusks are its pride and joy. It licks up dirt to take in the minerals it needs to keep its tusks in top condition. Yamask, the spirit Pokemon. A clay slab with cursed engravings took possession of a Yamask. The slab is said to be absorbing the Yamask's dark power. Ruinregus, the grudge Pokemon. A powerful curse was woven into an ancient painting. After absorbing the spirit of a Yamask, the painting began to move. Coffagrigus, the coffin Pokemon. This Pokemon has a body of sparkling gold. People say it no longer remembers that it was once human. Honedge, the sword Pokemon. Honedge's soul once belonged to a person who was killed a long time ago by the sword that makes up Honedge's body. Doublade, the sword Pokemon. Honedge evolves into twins. The two blades rub together to emit a metallic sound that unnerves opponents. Aegislash, the royal sword Pokemon. In this defensive stance, Aegislash uses its steel body and a force field of spectral power to reduce the damage of any attack. Ponyta, the unique horn Pokemon. Its small horn hides a healing power. With a few rubs from this Pokemon's horn, any slight wound you have will be healed. Rapidash, the unique horn Pokemon. Little can stand up to its Psycho Cut. Unleashed from this Pokemon's horn, the move will punch a hole right through a thick metal sheet. Sinistea, the black tea Pokemon. This Pokemon is said to have been born when a lonely spirit possessed a cold, leftover cup of tea. Poltegeist, the black tea Pokemon. This species lives in antique teapots. Most pots are forgeries, but on rare occasions, an authentic work is found. Indeedee, the emotion Pokemon. It uses the horns on its head to sense the emotions of others. Males will act as valets for those they serve, looking after their every need. Phantump, the stump Pokemon. After a lost child perished in the forest, their spirit possessed a tree stump, causing their spirit's rebirth as this Pokemon. Trevenant, the elder tree Pokemon. People fear it due to a belief that it devours any who try to cut down trees in its forest, but to the Pokemon it shares its woods with, its kind. Morello, the illuminating Pokemon. Pokemon living in the forest eat the delicious caps on Morello's head. The caps regrow overnight. Shiinotic, the illuminating Pokemon. Its flickering spores lure in prey and put them to sleep. Once this Pokemon has its prey snoozing, it drains their vitality with its fingertips. Oranguru, the sage Pokemon. With waves of its fan, made from leaves and its own fur, Oranguru skillfully gives instructions to other Pokemon. Persimmon, the teamwork Pokemon. Displaying amazing teamwork, they follow the orders of their boss as they all help out in the search for their favorite berries. Morpeko, the two-sided Pokemon. As it eats the seeds stored up in its pocket like pouches, this Pokemon is not just satisfying its constant hunger. It's also generating electricity. Phalanx, the formation Pokemon. 5 of them are troopers, and 1 is the brass. The brass's orders are absolute. Drampa, the placid Pokemon. The mountains it calls home are nearly 2 miles in height. On rare occasions, it descends to play with the children living in the towns below. Turtonator, the blast turtle Pokemon. Explosive substances coat the shell on its back. Enemies that dare attack it will be blown away by an immense detonation. Togedemaru, the roly-poly Pokemon. With the long hairs on its back, this Pokemon takes in electricity from other electric Pokemon. It stores what it absorbs in an electric sac. Snom, the worm Pokemon. It spits out thread imbued with a frigid sort of energy and uses it to tie its body to branches, disguising itself as an icicle while it sleeps. Frostmoth, the frost moth Pokemon. Icy scales fall from its wings like snow as it flies over fields and mountains. The temperature of its wings is less than -290 degrees Fahrenheit. Clobbopus, the tantrum Pokemon. It's very curious, but its means of investigating things is to try to punch them with its tentacles. The search for food is what brings it onto land. Graplocked, the Jujitsu Pokemon. A body made up of nothing but muscle makes the grappling moves this Pokemon performs with its tentacles tremendously powerful. Pincurchin, the sea urchin Pokemon. It feeds on seaweed, using its teeth to scrape it off rocks. Electric current flows from the tips of its spines. Mantike, the kite Pokemon. Mantike living in Galar seem to be somewhat sluggish. The colder waters of the seas in this region may be the cause. Mantine, the kite Pokemon. If it builds up enough speed swimming, it can jump out above the waves and glide for over 300 feet. Whalema, the bull whale Pokemon. It shows off by spraying jets of seawater from the nostrils above its eyes. It eats a solid ton of wishy-washy every day. Wailord, the float whale Pokemon. It can sometimes knock out opponents with the shock created by breaching and crashing its big body onto the water. Bergmite, the ice chunk Pokemon. They chill the air around them to -150 degrees Fahrenheit, freezing the water and the air into ice that they use as armor. Arvalug, the iceberg Pokemon. At high latitudes, this Pokemon can be found with clusters of bergmite on its back as it swims among the icebergs. Delmise, the sea creeper Pokemon. After a piece of seaweed merged with debris from a sunken ship, it was reborn as this ghost Pokemon. Lapras, the transport Pokemon. A smart and kind-hearted Pokemon, it glides across the surface of the sea while its beautiful song echoes around it. Gigantamax Lapras. Over 5,000 people can ride on its shell at once. And it's a very comfortable ride, without the slightest shaking or swaying. Lunatone, the meteorite Pokemon. The phase of the moon apparently has some effect on its power. It's active on the night of a full moon. Solrock, the meteorite Pokemon. When it rotates itself, it gives off light similar to the sun, thus blinding its foes. Mime Jr., the mime Pokemon. It mimics everyone it sees, but it puts extra effort into copying the graceful dance steps of Mr. Rhymer's practice. Mr. Mime, the dancing Pokemon. Its talent is tap dancing. It can also manipulate temperatures to create a floor of ice, which this Pokemon can kick up to use as a barrier. Mr. Rhyme, the comedian Pokemon. It's highly skilled at tap dancing. It waves its cane of ice in time with its graceful movements. Dyromika, the Zen Charm Pokemon. It lived in snowy areas for so long that its fire sac cooled off and atrophied. It now has an organ that generates cold instead. Darmanitan, the Zen Charm Pokemon. On days when blizzards blow through, It comes down to where people live. It stashes food in the snowball on its head, taking it home for later. Stonjourner, the big rock Pokemon. It stands in grasslands, watching the sun's descent from zenith to horizon. This Pokemon has a talent for delivering dynamic kicks. Ice-Cube, the penguin Pokemon. It drifted in on the flow of ocean waters from a frigid place. It keeps its head iced constantly to make sure it stays nice and cold. Duraludon, the alloy Pokemon. Its body resembles polished metal, and it's both lightweight and strong. The only drawback is that it rusts easily. Gigantamax Duraludon. It's grown to resemble a skyscraper. Parts of its towering body glow due to a profusion of energy. Rotom, the plasma Pokemon. One boy's invention led to the development of many different machines that take advantage of Rotom's unique capabilities. Ditto, the transform Pokemon. It can reconstitute its entire cellular structure to change into what it sees, but it returns to normal when it relaxes. Dracozolt, the fossil Pokemon. In ancient times, it was unbeatable thanks to its powerful lower body, but it went extinct anyway after it depleted all its plant-based food sources. Arctozolt, the fossil Pokemon. The shaking of its freezing upper half is what generates its electricity. It has a hard time walking around. Dracovish, the fossil Pokemon. Powerful legs and jaws made it the apex predator of its time. Its own overhunting of its prey was what drove it to extinction. Arctovish, the fossil Pokemon. Though it's able to capture prey by freezing its surroundings, it has trouble eating the prey afterward because its mouth is on top of its head. Charmander, the lizard Pokemon. It has a preference for hot things. When it rains, steam is said to spout from the tip of its tail. Charmeleon, the flame Pokemon. It has a barbaric nature. In battle, it whips its fiery tail around and slashes away with sharp claws. Charizard, the flame Pokemon. It spits fire that is hot enough to melt boulders. It may cause forest fires by blowing flames. Gigantamax Charizard. This colossal, flame-winged figure of a Charizard was brought about by Gigantamax energy. Type Null, the synthetic Pokemon. Rumor has it that the theft of top-secret research notes led to a new instance of this Pokemon being created in the Galar region. Silvally, the synthetic Pokemon. A solid bond of trust between this Pokemon and its trainer awakened the strength hidden within Silvally. It can change its type at will. Larvitar, the rock skin Pokemon. Born deep underground, it comes above ground and becomes a pupa once it has finished eating the surrounding soil. Pupitar, the hard shell Pokemon. Even sealed in its shell, it can move freely. Hard and fast, it has outstanding destructive power. Tyranitar, the armor Pokemon. Its body can't be harmed by any sort of attack, so it is very eager to make challenges against enemies. Dino, the irate Pokemon. When it encounters something, its first urge is usually to bite it. If it likes what it tastes, it will commit the associated scent to memory. Zweilous, the hostile Pokemon. While hunting for prey, Zweilous wanders its territory, its two heads often bickering over which way to go. Hydreigon, the brutal Pokemon. There are a slew of stories about villages that were destroyed by Hydreigon. It bites anything that moves. Goomy, the soft tissue Pokemon. Because most of its body is water, it will dry up if the weather becomes too arid. It's considered the weakest dragon Pokemon. Sliggoo, the soft tissue Pokemon. Although this Pokemon isn't very strong, its body is coated in a caustic slime that can melt through anything, so predators steer clear of it. Goodra, the dragon Pokemon. Sometimes it misunderstands instructions and appears dazed or bewildered. Many trainers don't mind, finding this behavior to be adorable. Jangmo-o, the scaly Pokemon. They learn to fight by smashing their head scales together. The dueling strengthens both their skills and their spirits. Hakamo-o, the scaly Pokemon. The scaleless, scarred parts of its body are signs of its strength. It shows them off to defeated opponents. Kamo-o, the scaly Pokemon. It clatters its tail scales to unnerve opponents. This Pokemon will battle only those who stand steadfast in the face of this display. Dreepy, the lingering Pokemon. After being reborn as a ghost Pokemon, Dreepy wanders the areas it used to inhabit back when it was alive in prehistoric seas. Dracloak, the caretaker Pokemon. It's capable of flying faster than 120 miles per hour. It battles alongside Dreepy and dotes on them until they successfully evolve. Dragapult, the stealth Pokemon. When it isn't battling, it keeps Dreepy in the holes on its horns. Once a fight starts, it launches the Dreepy like supersonic missiles. Zacian, the warrior Pokemon. Known as the legendary hero, this Pokemon absorbs metal particles, transforming them into a weapon it uses to battle. Zacian, the warrior Pokemon. Now armed with a weapon it used in ancient times, this Pokemon needs only a single strike to fell even Gigantamax Pokemon. Zamazenta, the warrior Pokemon. In times past, it worked together with a king of the people to save the Galar region. It absorbs metal that it then uses in battle. Zamazenta, the warrior Pokemon. Its ability to deflect any attack led to it being known as the Fighting Master's Shield. It was feared and respected by all. Eternatus, the gigantic Pokemon. The core on its chest absorbs energy emanating from the lands of the Galar region. This energy is what allows Eternatus to stay active. Gigantamax Eternatus. As a result of Rose's meddling, Eternatus absorbed all the energy in the Galar region. It's now in a state of power overload. Mew, the new species Pokemon. It's very intelligent and can use an incredible variety of moves. Many believe that all other Pokemon are descendants of this one. Melton, the Hex Nut Pokemon. It dissolves and eats metal. Circulating liquid metal within its body is how it generates energy. Melmetal, the Hex Nut Pokemon. At the end of its lifespan, Melmetal will rust and fall apart. The small shards left behind will eventually be reborn as Melton. Gigantamax Melmetal. In a distant land, there are legends about a cyclopean giant. In fact, the giant was a Melmetal that was flooded with Gigantamax energy.